So, slightly rough start to this morning. Got up early this morning, didn't get a ton of sleep, but I like to get to a trailhead usually around sunrise, and that was my goal for today, and I did. Got here just past 7 to find the gate closed. Nothing online that I could find about like the hours, so I went to the closest like public parking lot I could find to try and like figure out what my next steps were. Where I am today is Grandfather Mountain, and I'm at the like state park's free entrance. There's also like a privately owned entrance that you have to pay for, and I was texting my boyfriend trying to figure out what to do, and he's like, well, you might as well just wait and pay, and then you can at least like see what you want to see. I'm like, yeah, you're right, don't want to waste the whole trip out here. So waited in the parking lot for about an hour, and I was like, well, maybe the state park and the privately owned park have like the same hours. So I was like, well, as long as I had to wait till 8 anyways, might as well go check out the state park's free parking. Sure enough, it's open. So here now, but got here an hour earlier than I had to. And the state park's information that they list like on their site says that it's open 7 days a week, and to get here early because the parking lot fills up. I feel like if you tell people to get here early for most hikers is not 8, and you should specify what time you actually open the gate. But been sitting in my car for an hour now, ready to get some nice views. I have no idea what type of mushroom this is, but it's really cool. So I'm trying my first attempt at like a homemade chia energy drink, so hopefully this is good. It's good, but it is very sweet. Since it is my first time trying this, I like more or less followed a recipe, and it said to include honey. So I don't know, that sounds like it'll make it way too sweet, but I thought I should follow the recipe, and I did. It's not like undrinkable, but I probably didn't need the honey. It's a little foggy, but you can kind of see. Over there is Mount Rogers, which is the highest peak in Virginia. I actually hiked to the top of that when I went to Grayson Highlands to hike with the wild ponies. So this isn't actually my first time at this trail. Back when I was in college, I didn't live very far from here, and my boyfriend and I were driving towards a short afternoon hike I had picked out. As we were driving, my boyfriend saw this big mountain ahead, and he goes, I want to go to the top of that. To which I responded, if you can find the trailhead, we can do that instead. Sure enough, a couple minutes down the road, we came to a trailhead, the old profile trailhead, and it looked like it might go in the right direction. I don't remember 100%, but I think we just used the trail signs to figure this was probably the trail we wanted to take. Now, remember how I mentioned the original plan was a short afternoon hike? Yeah, Profile Trail to Linville Peak is not a short, easy walk through the woods. We didn't do Calloway Peak, which I am doing today. We followed these signs for a swinging bridge and ended up turning around, I think, just over a mile from Linville Peak. It was a disappointing decision, but it was the right one to make. We knew if we didn't turn back soon, we wouldn't make it back to the trailhead before dark, and we didn't have headlamps with us. We were also already feeling the effort in our legs and our stomachs. We knew the smartest option was to turn around and not continue further. That night, we ate an entire pizza, and my boyfriend looked up if there was another way to get to the swinging bridge and Linville Peak. Sure enough, there is a much, much easier way, which is what we did that weekend since we had already done the majority of the trail. If you're willing to pay, you can drive up to a parking lot at the base of the mile-high swinging bridge. Paying the fee also lets you explore their nature center and wildlife habitats. So if I remember correctly, that road down there is a Blue Ridge Parkway, and that is Grandfather Mountain, which is where I'm headed shortly. And there's the road you can drive up to the top. Just costs you $20. Now I'm on to Swinging Bridge. I remember the first time I came here, I was just like so amazed at how much quartz there is just like naturally in all the rocks. Thank you, Scratch Labs, for making things super simple. Gotten to the boulder field section of the trail. There's one blue blaze. There's another one up there. At this point, I was feeling a bit proud of myself. I nearly had a panic attack last time I was here, and if my boyfriend hadn't have been there with me, I probably would have turned around before trying to climb up. I don't like heights, but roughly 7 years ago, I really didn't like heights. So I enjoyed my personal growth for a minute while being unaware of what this trail had in store for me next. Weather moves in fast in the mountains. There's a little bit of a rainstorm, at least pretty much every day here. Looks like that's about to happen soon. So here's where the ladder section starts. I wanted to get a lot of shots of this trail so that I could accurately show what it's like. However, in the most exposed and technical sections, I needed both my hands and 100% of my focus. Here's the bridge where I'm headed. It looks so far away. This looks like I have to do a lot of climbing to get back here. These ladders are the last two of a set of 4, the other two being basically immediately above them. I feel far more comfortable on cables going up than doing cables going down. This is the slowest I've ever hiked in my entire life. Like, I honestly thought I'd be done by this time. I haven't even made it to the swinging bridge yet. I thought I would take Underwood Trail on the way back to see what it was like. Both options lead back to the same spot. So far, no exposure, which I'm very thankful for, but there are a lot of large rocks, which just make it rather tiring, and I'm already exhausted. I've made it back to the ladder section. By the end of this hike, I had a lot of mixed feelings. There were sections with amazing views and feelings of pride, knowing I felt more comfortable with certain points of exposure than I did 7 years ago. There were also some lows, though. Areas where the exposure still freaked me out, annoyance at my much slower than normal pace, and my legs felt absolutely shot by the time I was done. At one point on the trail, I even texted my boyfriend to express regret, saying I don't even know why I chose to do this, knowing firsthand that there was exposure and a lot of tiring elevation gain and loss. But after having a day or two to reflect and rest my legs, I don't regret choosing to do this trail a second time, and I'm very glad I was able to complete it. To be quite honest, I'd really like to see the plane crash, so I may even come back a third time, just not anytime soon. And who knows, maybe next time I'll be even more comfortable with the exposure and hopefully a little faster too. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to be always adventuring.